Today I'm going to share something really special with you, the top 5 books that have played a crucial role in my journey to earning over $600,000 in business. Now these aren't just any books, they're game changers that shaped my mindset, improved my skills, and ultimately led me to financial success. To give you a little background context, I've read well over 300 plus books. You can see a bunch right here to the side of me. For the last 4 years, I built a business around sharing books on social media and getting paid to actually read them by working closely with authors. I've read many great books and many bad books, and I've read books that could have been a tweet and others that could have been a blog post, but I've also read books that have completely changed the way I act, think, and be in this life. So the 5 books I'm going to share with you in this video have had a profound impact on me. Fortunately, some of the authors have actually become close friends of mine through my business journey. And they're not just your traditional make money books or scale your business to the moon books. However, some have led an insight or two into tactical tips, but overall they've taught me the right mindset, discipline, and approach to have the success I've had so far in my business. So I'm making this video for my younger self as well. When I was still working in college basketball, I had this entrepreneurial bug eating me alive to jump ship, and I didn't know where to start. So I turned to books to initially learn. But I wish I had 5 to 10 high quality books to start with, so I hope these 5 can have the same impact, if not a larger impact on you as it has on me. So let's dive right into it. Book numero uno is this small little book right here called Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf. The first time I read this book was probably around 2014 or 2015. I was a freshman or sophomore in college. I was at the University of Rhode Island, and during my time there in college, I was very involved in the men's basketball team under Coach Dan Hurley. The book was required reading. It's a short, punchy book. It was perfect for our athletes because they didn't have the greatest attention span, but it was characterized as a narrative nonfiction, which is not your traditional nonfiction book that could come off as you getting yelled at, telling you what to do, or it could be super bland like a textbook. It's actually a fiction story that's nonfiction with real-world embedded lessons throughout the book inside the character's journey. It follows the main character, John, who dreams of becoming a samurai archer. So he ends up leaving home, and I take it he lives in the US, and he goes to study under the legendary sensei at the Soki Dojo. He gets there super thrilled to become this epic samurai archer, only to find out that he isn't beginning his studies with anything close to a bow and arrow. His tasks consist of exactly what the title is: chopping wood and carrying water. Super mundane tasks. However, as you begin to get through the book, you learn this forms the central message in the book, that mastery, success, and truly anything worthwhile doing comes from embracing the mundane task and finding meaning in everyday small tasks that will build towards your overall goal. See, like Tom Brady didn't just wake up at 18 and become the 7-time Super Bowl champion that we know him as. Muhammad Ali didn't roll out of bed at 22 years old and defeat Sonny Liston on February 25th, 1964 as he gained his first world title. Or Jeff Bezos didn't spawn in the world and become a leader of Amazon, a $1 trillion company, out of some sort of whim. So the same goes for your life and my life. You're not going to achieve the big success or wins that you're desiring quickly overnight. It takes actions like chopping wood and carrying water to perfect your craft and be great. So this book has been absolutely transformative in my life, not only because of the time I read it, but also the lessons it instilled in me. It taught me the overall themes of embracing the process, falling in love with the process, having a strong mindset when it comes to challenges and setbacks that will hit you no matter what, and at any part in the journey to keep on going. It taught me the value of showing up every day, whether I felt like it or not, to perform and work on my craft and hone in on consistency over perfection. It also taught me patience and persistence. It helped me hone in on my long-term vision and not get swayed by the roller coaster ride that life might throw your way. It helped me zoom in on the days versus having this massive overarching vision for my life, because side note, another one of my favorite authors, Robin Sharma, has this incredible quote that our days are our lives in miniature. As you live your hours in your day, you create years and so forth. And lastly, it taught me the importance of continuous improvement. Charlie Chaplin also has this great quote that we don't live long enough to become experts. I honestly agree with him. Sure, some people are very knowledgeable in certain fields, but I associate the word expert with that you know everything on that subject, which I don't think is true for anyone because there's always more to learn. And the day you stop learning is the day you start dying, which is another great quote by Albert Einstein. So through John's journey in this book to become a samurai archer, he learns he has to deal with improving over and over again to be great at his craft. Chop wood, carry Carry Water is always a book I gift to others and suggest for those that are just getting into reading. Not only because of the lessons it shares, but also because it's short and reads like a Netflix show. So the average person who doesn't read a ton, it's a perfect book for them to get started into building that reading habit. It helped me turn into the voracious reader that I am today with this massive library by my side, because I was diagnosed ADD, ADHD growing up, and I was a mess of a kid, and now I've been spending years getting paid to read books and sharing insights through my brand Unleash the Knowledge. So shout out to Joshua Metcalf for writing this incredible book. He's become a friend through my business journey, which is so incredible, and I cannot say more good things about this book. Now on to book number 2. This is another dear book to my heart for 3 major reasons. The first reason is it validated the work that I was already living, which can be very exciting to know you're on the right path, especially during a time in my life when I totally felt like I was not on the right path. The second major reason is it ignited a fire in me to build the reading habit that I have today and have had for nearly a decade now. It roped me in and got me excited about gaining knowledge from others who did the hard work to live it or capture the knowledge and then put it all into a book. So it set me on this wild spree of reading any book I could get my hands on. And lastly, the author has now become an incredible friend of mine, which I would have never imagined. And another person he shares in the book, who you'll learn about once you read it, and you'll find him very interesting, has also become an incredible close friend of mine as well. And it all came from starting to read this book and implement what you learn in the book. So for these 3 reasons, I always love sharing this book because it has had such a big impact on me, and I always recommend it to friends, again, who are just getting into reading a book, because like Chopwood Carry Water, it reads like a movie. So with that being said, the second book that I'm recommending that has had a massive impact on me to build my business to $600,000 is The Third Door by Alex Banayan. The premise of this book is it follows a young Alex on this wild journey of meeting a group of the world's most famous people. Now, this includes people like Bill Gates, Pitbull, Lady Gaga, Quincy Jones, Maya Angelou, Tim Ferriss, Larry King, and so many more. His mission behind this adventure is to find out what these ultra successful people did to kickstart their careers. What was their mindset early on? How did they approach early failure and ultimately become the person that we know them as today? And as I mentioned earlier, it validated how I was already approaching opportunities in networking. Because ever since I was probably about 18 years old, I truly embodied this mindset that there is no such thing as a closed door. And this century-old belief that we are all 7 degrees separated from one another, I think that's total BS. Especially with social media today, I think we are at least 2 to 3 degrees separated from one another in a world if you really commit to connecting with the right people. Now, this brings up a story that I do want to share. That I was doing an informational interview in college, and essentially the task was to reach out to someone who you wanted to have their job one day. Now, I've always loved sports. I had a great career in college basketball for 6 years, so this led me to reaching out to the CMO of the Boston Red Sox when I was going to school up in Rhode Island. I sent a couple cold DMs or cold messages and emails, found him on LinkedIn, sent a couple messages, and long story short, I was able to interview this man who holds this incredible position with a story program like the Boston Red Sox. And it all stemmed from what I learned in this book, that again, there's no closed door and you can truly meet anybody you want. There's another great story where I reached out to the VP of PR for the New York Knicks at 18 years old trying to get an internship with them. It didn't work out. I didn't get it, which is fine, but I did get through to him. I got his email and it turned into massive new opportunities down the road, which I'll save for another video. But it all stems from the concepts outlined in Alex's book, The Third Door. And I felt so excited to learn Alex's story as I was reading it because we spoke the same language. But back to the book. Of course, based off the title, it promotes this third door message, which is an analogy based on a nightclub. Alex shares this concept that life, business, and success is like a nightclub and how you enter it. There's 3 ways to get in. The first door, which is the main entrance, which truthfully speaking, average Joes are waiting in the line. That curves around the block. There's no quick access. Wait your turn no matter the weather. And then there's always the second entrance, which is for the VIPs. Side entrance, you got to be someone of high level authority or credibility to get in there. You get in super fast, maybe you're under an awning so you're not getting wet, and they never have to wait because of their status. But then there's always this third door, which is the entrance where you have to jump out of line, run down the alleyway, go up a fire escape, run through the kitchen, bang on a door a couple times, crack a window, and by any means necessary, you can find your way in. So this is the mindset of the third door, and it will help you find unconventional ways to achieve your goals. Alex tells a story in the beginning of the book, which I'm not going to tell too much because you totally have to read the book to find out, but it has to do with a super well-known game show on how he ultimately proved the third door analogy without even knowing it, and then that spearheaded his journey to meeting all these incredible people to actually produce what we now have in this book. So this book is filled with the relentless pursuit of interviews of the most successful people that have taught me the value of persistence and not letting no be the end of the road. This book showed me how creative problem solving can get you into rooms that you never would have thought would be imaginable, even if it means waiting in the bathroom stall to catch a famous author as he washes his hands. Yeah, another incredible story from Alex in this book. Alex also emphasizes the need to think outside the box, especially when faced with challenges in life or in business, and this alone has been a major takeaway of mine that has helped me grow in my business career. Another major takeaway from the third door, which I struggled finding early in my life, was the power of mentorship. I've always had positive people in my life, but it wasn't until I got to college that I truly felt I met my first real mentor, and that was Coach Dan Hurley. The book highlights the importance of seeking guidance from those who live a life you want to live, or at least have achieved or accomplished something that you're aiming for yourself. So as a reader of the book, you will totally feel motivated and pushed to actively seek mentors to accelerate your growth, and it can begin with a cold email, cold DM, and those will go a long way, trust me. And lastly, Alex leaves you with a dose of energy to take action, especially if you feel totally qualified as he did throughout his book. He was a curious college kid who wanted to know more about these super successful people, and now he's a wildly successful author and keynote speaker. So another big shout out to my buddy Alex Benayan. Thanks so much for writing this book. I highly encourage you guys to read it. Now on to book number 3. Now this book is incredible. It has completely bulletproofed my mind when it comes to understanding human behavior and influence. And it's helped me with my marketing efforts in business, and it's none other than Influence by Robert Cialdini. This book is an absolute must-read for any business owner, marketer, or writer. Cialdini outlines the 6 principles of persuasion, which are reciprocity, commitment, and consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. These have become my foundation for marketing and sales. And the coolest part about this book is everything in it is literally age-old lessons and research tested by Robert himself, because he's a distinguished professor of marketing and a research psychologist. So if you haven't heard of Influence or Robert Cialdini and you're running an online business or any sort of business for that matter, let me please give you some context so you can put these incredible principles into action ASAP before you read the book. Because of course you should read the book as soon as possible, but these principles can be implemented right away. So the first one is reciprocity. People tend to feel obligated to return favors or acts of kindness. This principle suggests that by giving something first, you can create a sense of indebtedness that makes others more likely to comply with subsequent requests. The second is commitment and consistency. Once someone takes a stand or makes a commitment, they tend to behave consistently with that position. This principle leverages our desire to be or appear consistent in our words, beliefs, attitudes, and actions. The third one is social proof. People often look to others to determine appropriate behaviors, especially in ambiguous situations. This principle suggests that we are more likely to do something if we see others doing it, particularly if those others seem similar to us. The next one is authority. People tend to obey authoritative figures and are more likely to be persuaded by those perceived as knowledgeable and credible. This principle explains why endorsements from experts or respected figures can be particularly persuasive. The next one is liking. We are more easily influenced by people we like, whether due to physical attractiveness, similarity to ourselves, or other factors. This principle suggests that building rapport and finding common ground can increase persuasive power. And then there's scarcity. People tend to value things more when they are rare or dwindling in availability. This principle explains why limited time offers or exclusive opportunities can be particularly motivating. And listen to that part again, digest it, embody those principles, and you will watch your business skyrocket as I have for myself. This book is packed with way more gold nuggets beyond just those 6 principles. It taught me ethical persuasion, which we know is more important than ever today in a world of scammy entrepreneurs and brands selling you false promises. I don't want to bring up the moment I got scammed for $16,000 for what would have been a $97 a month software that I could have probably found on my own, but that's a story for another day. Influence gave me the understanding of customer psychology, negotiation skills, and so much more. This book truly is a must-read for any coach, consultant, or agency owner who wants to grow their business along with any professional who wants to lead teams to victory. Now, the fourth book that has been crucial in my business journey to earning over $600,000 is The Go-Giver by Bob Burg. First and foremost, Bob is an absolute go-giver. He is a giver, giver, giver. He's the true embodiment, and now that they both are friends of mine, I need to give some praise to John David Mann too, who's the co-author of this incredible book. But this book, like some of the others, was one of the first books I read around 18 years old that have completely catapulted my drive to personally develop and begin a business in general. It changed my entire perspective on success and value creation. This book, similar to Chop Wood Carry Water, is a narrative nonfiction, also known as a fable, which it follows a fictitious storyline, but the principles again are applicable to real life. It follows the fictitious character of Joe. Joe is a true go-getter, not a giver yet, who is a young, hungry individual who yearns for success. He works in a sales role and is desperate to close a key sale at the end of the quarter. He ends up seeking some incredible wisdom from the legendary consultant named Pindar. And throughout the book, Joe is introduced to multiple go-givers, thanks to Pindar. He meets a restaurateur, a CEO, a financial advisor, and a real estate agent. This bestseller will truly instill the old proverb into your life of give and you shall receive. You'll learn the 5 laws of stratospheric success in this book. The law of value, the law of compensation, the law of influence, the law of authenticity, and the law of receptivity. Each law will lead you to becoming a legendary go-giver, which is the secret to all of your life's dreams. Again, who gives the most will receive the most. This is a book I read at least once a year, each year, and have had both Bob and John on my book marketing podcast that I have. It's called The Daily Author. You can check that out if you want. But they're two amazing guys, and their book, The Go-Giver, has had an incredible, profound impact on my life along with millions of others. You totally should check it out. So now, last but not least, the 5th book that has had an incredible impact on my success in business so far is by MJ DeMarco, and it's called The Millionaire Fast Lane. This book is addicting, to say the least. I just could not put it down when I first started reading it. And it's a long book. It's not a short one. MJ highlights how there are 3 lanes to creating wealth in our lives. Simply put, the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. Now, if I asked you right now, which lane would you choose to be on to acquire wealth? Let's take a minute. What would you say? Yeah, no kidding. The fast lane, of course. I would take the same route, and I have taken the same route. MJ goes into an elaborate detail of what the sidewalk means, which is the first path, and that is characterized as living paycheck to paycheck. You are behind financially in life. You probably have tons of debt, and you can't save or invest. More times than not, these people in the sidewalk value and focus more on short-term gratification than long-term financial security. And then there's the slow lane, and this is where the conventional financial wisdom comes into play, like the millionaire next door. Save a portion of your income, get a good job, live below your means, work for the man, and save for retirement. A sustainable but very boring path, and we only get one life, so you might as well want to choose the fast lane, which is where we all want to be. And that's the one I chose to help me earn $600,000 in business, and has given me the path to go on to earn $1 million pretty soon. This is to fix your focus on building scalable businesses and systems to generate significant income without directly trading time for money. It's aimed to lean into entrepreneurship and innovation and not some old mediocre job. I learned that the fast lane mindset from this book is to think and act in a way to lead to rapid wealth accumulation. And this mindset shift changed for me tremendously because I read it at 18 years old. This book is also super focused on value creation, similar to The Go-Giver. MJ stresses the importance of building systems in your business to work harder than you physically can. This alone was a game changer for me. It pushed me to automate, delegate, and make the hard decisions of what isn't fueling me anymore in my business. You'll also learn about this CENTS framework, CENTS, because who doesn't love a framework or a process to follow? This framework stands for control, entry, need, time, and scale. And it will help you evaluate every business opportunity that comes your way so you can make smarter decisions. And even though I embody the fast lane mindset after reading this book, it's a great book for you to revisit regularly and remind you to not fall into that slow lane, or worse, the sidewalk. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it. The top 5 books that were incredibly and wildly instrumental in my journey to earn $600,000. You got it here on the board. To recap, it's Chop Wood, Carry Water, The Third Door, Influence, The Go-Giver, and The Millionaire Fastlane. Each book has played a crucial role in shaping my mindset, strategies, and actions in my personal and business journey so far. So I highly encourage you, if you're a coach, consultant, agency owner, or you're working a 9-to-5, read all 5 of these books and many more that align with similar messages. Because if you're serious about changing your personal life and business life, these 5 books will 100% do it for you. And remember, reading these books alone won't magically make you successful. Trust me, this comes from a guy who has read an incredible levels of books. Let's turn the camera right here real quick and just see the level of books that I have here. The success doesn't come from just reading the books. The success and the magic comes from buying the book, reading the books, digesting it, absorbing all the wisdom, taking notes, revisiting those notes, reading the book again, and then ultimately taking what you've learned and put it into practice in your own life. That's where the magic happens, not just reading these books for leisure and then putting them down and never doing anything with them again. So as always, if you could do me a kind favor and you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to level up in your online business and your personal life, to take this one life that we got and squeeze all the goodness that it has for you. Also hit push notifications so you never miss a video that I drop. And lastly, drop a comment below. Let's have a conversation. Let me know which of these books you're going to start with. And also, if you've already read some of them, let me know. All right, y'all. I love you. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video.